All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we are going to talk about Ja'Marr Chase. We'll talk about some comments made by their owner, Mike Brown, on Chase. As he's going to be the next Bengal to get a big contract because it seems like they're going to do everything they can to keep him, which, again, kind of just reiterates the point of, that Tee Higgins is probably on his way out after this year. So I wanted to actually include a graphic on this in this segment here. Just Ja'Marr Chase's career statistics has been one of the best receivers in the NFL. Through his first 3 seasons, 268 receptions, 3,717 receiving yards, and 29 touchdowns. And Joe Burrow and Chase have picked it up right where they left off in college. And, now you're hoping for Joe Burrow to come back healthy. And, him and Chase are going to have a big year. But I just wanted to get into what the owner, Mike Brown, had to say. So he talked about Chase, that he's a key player next to Joe. He's our next one, and he knows it. We know it. This may take a while. We are going to bend over backwards to get it done. I can't tell you when, though. And obviously, a lot of receivers have gotten paid this offseason. In the article I have here, they talk about Justin Jefferson and him getting his 40-year, $140 million contract. That could be what Ja'Marr Chase gets. And, you got CeeDee Lamb also that is still waiting on getting paid as well. But, yeah, Chase could get that money. CeeDee Lamb is going to get that money as well, the way it seems. But now, into more of what Brown said. I would tell you that's a hard one, too. With the cap and how it works is a little different. Things can happen. Opportunities can arise unexpectedly even. And you can put deals together. No, we're not going to say, oh, no, we're not going to do that deal if it's the right deal, but it's not. So likely that this is the good time to negotiate. The offseason is a better time for that. We're going to try to keep focus on the football part. I'm not going to rule anything out, but I will tell you the die has probably been cast. Chase sat out of OTAs because of the contract, but showed up for mandatory minicamp. So we'll see how this all plays out. But yeah, you hear ownership talking about Ja'Marr Chase like that. You don't hear them talking about Tee Higgins like that. Now they have definitely said, Tee Higgins is a good player, and they want to keep him around, of course. But yeah. I didn't hear comments like that. They want to keep Ja'Marr Chase, and right now Chase has a 5th-year option, of course, on his rookie deal, and that's worth about $22 million. He's going to get the big contract. I have full confidence in that. I think anybody watching this has full confidence in that Ja'Marr Chase is going to get his extension, and like I said, this is probably the Bengals, and on previous shows, it's probably the last time you're going to have that trio of Tee Higgins, Joe Burrow, and Ja'Marr Chase, because Tee Higgins is going to end up going somewhere else. And, there's definitely some concern, I feel like, going into this Bengals season. Now, I've been taking like that optimistic approach with the Bengals, but there are, I've seen some TikToks, and, there's some people that just aren't. And I also said the other day when I overheard my friend talking about the Bengals that he thinks the Bengals are going to finish last in the division. So I hear that. I see comments on social media talking about the Bengals roster and how it's not in the best shape, because they've lost some guys. And, you got Joe Burrow coming back, and, there's some concern there with that wrist. And, again, I've been Mr. Positive with the Bengals, but I could be very wrong on the Bengals. And, Burrow gets hurt again, and the Bengals season gets derailed again. And the other thing, too, that I've talked about is, could Joe Burrow become the next Andrew Luck if he's constantly getting hurt and he ends up retiring? Because I know I remember I did a segment earlier in the offseason where he kind of, just talked about his football mortality. And when he's having that conversation already, after what he's been through, and, he's only What is this going to be? This is going to be his fifth season? That's not good. And I love watching Joe Burrow play. Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL when he's healthy. And if he ends up calling it a career prematurely, that's just another one you could add to the list. And I don't want that to be the case. Because when him and Jamar Chase are clicking, when this Bengals offense is clicking, they're a fun team to watch. So, they're a fun offense to watch. And that's the team that many people believe, including myself, that they could be the team that knocks off the Chiefs because they've done it before. Now, there's some people that believe that window closed, but I don't know. So, and it doesn't help that also they play in the toughest division in football. Because every game is going to be a battle. But Jamar Chase is in for a big year, and he's I'd be lying if I said he wasn't one of the players that I'm thinking about taking at 5. There's a couple of players, and he's one of them. And I'm thinking about taking at 5 in my fantasy drafts or fantasy draft for my main league. Yeah, he's going to be there's no reason why he shouldn't have a big year. I mean, even with Burrow getting hurt last year, he played in 16 games last year. He still had 1,200 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, compared to his rookie season, now he had 100 receptions last year. He had 81 receptions in 2021, but he had 1,455 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns. 2022 he had 9, and then last year he had 7. You want to see the touchdowns, tick back up again. And I think, they are going to force feed him a lot. And like I've said, the Bengals made some changes. No more Tyler Boyd. They drafted a receiver. So we'll see who steps up into that wide receiver 3 role. They added Mike Gesicki. So, I mean, if Joe Burrow's healthy, this Bengals offense is going to be good. That's really what it comes down to. Jake Browning did a nice job filling in for Burrow, but can only do so much. It's not Joe Burrow. They may have the same initials, but he's not that JB. So, and the kind of contract that Chase is going to get, now back to the business side. I mean, based on his production over his first 3 seasons, yeah, he deserves to be one of the top paid receivers in the league. Now, who's going to get paid first? Is going to be I think it's probably going to be It's probably going to be CeeDee Lamb. I would think. He's going to get paid before Chase. And you still got Ayuk, who's looking for a new deal. Tee Higgins. Yeah, you still got some guys that are looking to get paid. And you got the quarterbacks, Jordan Love and Tua are looking to get paid. A lot of guys are looking to get paid right now. And all we've been talking about is, well, it could happen here. The talks are heating up, and this person said this, and this person said that. Just got to keep playing that waiting game. However, what could get us through this is the fact that football is back next week. And I cannot wait. Even though it's still preseason and, you're not going to see really any starters playing, we're at least going to get football next week. So, I've got to be locked in for these preseason games because, there's some guys that, could perform well, that, could give us, some content, give us things to discuss. So, yeah, just got to, got to lock in for preseason and pretty much be able to pretty much watch every preseason game because NFL Network's going to air all of them. So, but that'll get us through this. Is that we're getting to football. It's coming back, and that way I don't have to keep repeating myself over things. We could just dive into games, talk about them. Got college football coming back not next week, but towards the end of August as well. So there's going to be a lot of things to discuss in the coming weeks, which I'm really excited about, because I know, and I've said, and I'm repeating myself about repeating myself. It's been a long off season, but we're getting close. So, but back to Ja'Marr Chase. We always like to go off on tangents. I don't really know what else to say on Ja'Marr Chase. I mean, he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's going to get that contract. It's a matter of when, not if. But you do worry. I guess I'll say this, though. You do worry about the Bengals and I guess them being top-heavy and, the depth that they have. I think that's what some people's concerns are. Because you look at these other rosters. I mean, you got Joe Burrow, of course, who is, either 1 or 2 in the division in terms of, quarterback rankings, which I did yesterday. But, there's some question marks on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, the running game, are they going to be a balanced offense, or is it going to be Joe Burrow just slinging the ball around 50 times a game? I don't think they want that, especially with him coming off of the injury that he's coming off of. But, you look at the Ravens roster, you probably, give the edge to the Ravens roster. The Browns, I mean, there's question marks with Deshaun Watson. But, the Browns probably, you would take their defense over the Bengals. And you'd probably take the Steelers' defense over the Bengals. The Bengals probably have the worst defense in the division. Not probably, they do have the worst defense in the division. But what separates the Bengals is their quarterback play, if Burrow's healthy. Because if Burrow's healthy, that's why I ranked him over Deshaun Watson and the Steelers' quarterbacks. Those teams have question marks at quarterback. So that's why, I mean, we got to see how it goes. But, the Bengals, the reason why people think their window closed is because, a few years ago the defense was solid. But, yeah, they've lost guys. They lost DJ Reader. They lost Jesse Bates. That's part of the reason why people are, and that was on the TikTok that I watched recently. That's why they're a little concerned with the Bengals going into this year. And Joe Burrow's health. DJ Reader was a good run stuffer for them. He's with the Lions now, although I think he was hurt. But yeah, he's with the Lions now. Jesse Bates is now with the Falcons. Those are some key guys on the defensive side of the ball. You had Trey Hendrickson, who, was requesting a trade, looking to get out and try to find a new deal. But, that hasn't happened. He's still with the Bengals. There's some concern. So, but I'm still going to be optimistic with the Bengals. If Joe Burrow is healthy, they're going to be fine, I think. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about this Bengals topic. How much do you think Ja'Marr Chase can make? Do you think he should get paid more than Justin Jefferson? A little bit less? Where do you see? He's in that ballpark. But, yeah, I mean, the Bengals are going to do everything they can to keep him. But, yeah, Tee Higgins, yeah, he's going to be getting paid elsewhere. So when we come back from our final break of the show, we are going to discuss Kyler Murray, talk about some things regarding him and the Cardinals. So that is how we'll end off the show today. So for one final time, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.